This is why this group of lions live in trees. You've seen the image of a cat stuck in a tree and a firefighter coming by to save him. If a cat's in a tree, it's in danger, right? Maybe with your domestic cats, but when it comes to cats in the wild, tree climbing is common enough. However, it isn't common with lions. That is, except for this one subgroup of lions. Just one subgroup, just one small population. So why is it that more than 99% of lions do not climb trees, but there is this one group of lions in East Africa that has made climbing trees a normal occurrence? Big cats. First, we need to lay some ground rules for big cats in general. Let's dive into this whole tree climbing business. There are 7 species of big cats in the world: tigers, lions, jaguars, cougars, leopards, snow leopards, and cheetahs. Of these 7, there are a few that commonly climb trees: jaguars, cougars, and leopards. Those are the species that most commonly climb trees and are quite agile and arboreal. Leopards will drag their prey into a tree to eat it after having killed it. Cougars and jaguars will hide out in trees, waiting for the perfect moment to pounce. And black panthers, which are a variant of either the jaguar, cougar, or leopard, depending on what part of the world you are in, will also be found hiding out in trees, hidden in the leaves. Snow leopards are great climbers, but they generally use their climbing skills when scaling mountainous terrain. Cheetahs don't commonly practice tree climbing, but there have been times they've found themselves in the trees, especially if chased by herds of hyenas or baboons or something. The same goes for tigers, but seeing as how they are so enormous, there aren't many animals scaring them into the trees. And that's the same scenario when it comes to lions. Lions are the apex predators of Africa. There isn't much to scare them up into a tree, and there is no other reason why they would want to go into the trees. Not 99% of lions anyway. However, there is that small subset of lions that do prefer to live in the trees. But why in the world are they doing that? Lions of Africa. When you think of Africa, it very well may be the first animal you think of. The lion. It's famous. The enormous roar, the big mane, the hunting prowess, the fact that it is not just an extremely recognizable predator, it is the apex predator of the continent of Africa. And lions are found all over Africa. You can find lions in a range of different habitats, from open plains to thick brush to dry thorn forests. The videos we see of them most commonly depict them in the open plains, seeking out prey, laying low in the tall grass, creeping up on their target, and then pouncing when the time is right. We don't see many videos of these enormous felines hanging out in the trees, waiting for an opportunity to strike. While lions are agile, they aren't the cats best suited for climbing trees. The smaller leopards, cougars, and jaguars are better at that. Lions are gigantic, powerful animals that dominate the lands as they stroll along them. Lions can be anywhere from 6 to 8 feet long in general, and sometimes grow to even bigger lengths. They're the second largest feline after the tiger. They often weigh between 400 and 500 pounds, but don't be surprised if you see them exceed that. Lions top 600 and 700 pounds, often enough. That's going to have to be a sturdy tree if it's going to support several of these big cats. Many big cats are solitary animals like tigers and jaguars, taking down their enormous prey on their own. Lions are so unique when compared to other big cats because they stay in the all-famous pride. The pride can be anywhere from 8 to upwards of 20 lions, and it is usually run by a coalition of 2 to 4 males. The coalition is the adult males, oftentimes brothers who have claimed control of the rest of the pride, consisting of females and juveniles. Most of the hunting is done by the females, but the males participate from time to time as well. But they have a different task that is just as important: keeping the entire pride safe. While the females are tasked with getting food for everyone, the male lions are the security guards, keeping out unwanted enemies. A lion pride will have an enormous swath of land that is their territory. They watch over it, making sure no other predators enter, and making sure no rival lion groups try to come in and steal it away. This usually doesn't include the tops of trees. Africa is the second largest continent on Earth, with over 50 countries. Lions inhabit so many of those countries, around 20 of them. They're littered in so many different pockets all around Africa. To name a few: South Africa, Botswana, Namibia, Angola, Kenya, Ghana, Nigeria, Central African Republic, and South Sudan. Lions behave normally in these countries and in the rest of the countries that they inhabit, except for 2 countries in East Africa. There are 2 small populations of lions that climb trees, and they are found in the countries of Uganda and Tanzania. These are the 2 nations where these strange lions are found. These lions that regularly climb the trees, that spend so much of their time living in the trees. So what's going on over there in East Africa? Welcome to East Africa. We've observed lions all over the gigantic continent of Africa, and we've seen them in their natural habitat, scaring away would-be predators, hunting hoofed animals, forming their large prides, and definitely not climbing trees. But now we're narrowing our sights, looking at East Africa in a region close to the equator. The nations of Uganda, which straddles the equator, and Tanzania, which is just below the equator. Uganda and Tanzania do share a bit of a border, and they also both share Lake Victoria, so you're probably thinking that the tree-climbing lions reside near this lake. But that's actually not the case. Now, wildlife experts have explained that on very rare occasions, any lion may climb a tree. So as people are out on safari, it's something they look for, but it is by no means a guarantee. That is, unless they go to one of 2 specific locations, then it's nearly a 100% guarantee. Those 2 places are the Ishasha sector of Queen Elizabeth National Park in Uganda and Lake Manyara National Park of Tanzania. Queen Elizabeth National Park is in western Uganda, right next to Lake Edward, which it shares with the neighboring country Democratic Republic of the Congo. Lake Manyara National Park is aptly named as it is next to Lake Manyara in northern Tanzania. The 2 locations are separated by about 700 miles. Yes, when you look on a map, from a great distance they appear close. But 700 miles is quite a great distance. Then again, they're close enough. Similar habitats, similar terrains, similar weather. The tree-climbing lions may be doing this in both locations for the same reasons. If you're in Lake Manyara National Park with a tour guide, they'll help you to spot the tree-climbing lions. You may think a lion in a tree, I'll probably see it easily, but not always. They often blend in with the color of the trees. You can see an entire pride up in the tree. And in Queen Elizabeth National Park, they can be hard to spot there as well, but perhaps a bit easier. This is because you can see up to 50 lions lounging up in the trees. And lounging is the right word. The lions in the trees tend to be looking quite relaxed. They're at ease, they're hiding from the heat. Quite simply, they're just hanging out. None of them look to be scared. None of them look to be in some state of aggression. They didn't drag a freshly killed antelope up there for the whole family to munch. Okay, is it time to give up with the guessing? Why is it that so many lions can be found climbing the trees in these national parks of East Africa? What is with the tree-climbing lions of Uganda and Tanzania? What's so special about these small populations of lions? Are they just strange? Or is there a method to the madness? Why East Africa? Yes, these 2 national parks in Uganda and Tanzania are about 700 miles apart, but they obviously have many similarities due to their close proximity, in relativity to the rest of the continent. If you look at the continent as a whole, it's humongous. This is a relatively small section of the continent of Africa, so conditions are quite similar here. Many zoologists have been fascinated by the tree-climbing lions of East Africa for a long time, and they've had a lot of trouble figuring out just why it is that they do this. It's been the focus of many theories, many hypotheses. And then something became apparent to those who studied these tree-climbing lions. At nighttime, the lions often came down from the trees and spent most of their time on the ground. Interesting. Sometimes this could be for the reasons of hunting prey. Then again, they came down in the daytime to hunt prey as well. But if the lions weren't hunting prey, in the daytime they spent most of their time in the trees, and at night they spent far more time on the ground. Now, most lions try to stay hidden and watch prey from the ground, but many speculated that these lions may have decided they'd have a better vantage point from up in the trees, and due to their coloring, they may stay hidden better. It was an interesting theory, and it could hold some truth, but many don't believe that is the main reason. Perhaps it is just a pleasant side effect for the lions if they were able to see their prey more easily. In fact, with so many branches and leaves, there's a chance it could impede their view. Lions all across the continent of Africa lay about under trees, getting shade from the hot sun. These lions could be doing the same, but they went up into the trees. Could that help to keep them even cooler? Perhaps, but no one really thinks that's the main reason for climbing into the trees. But then something else was noticed. The lions were not only coming down from the trees at night time, but also when it rained. Even more interesting. So they spent so much time during the hot, dry days up in the trees, but at night they often came down. And when it was raining, when it was cooler and wetter, they also came down. Now, the theory about keeping cool makes a little more sense. Most lions will lay underneath the trees to stay cool, but these lions are near the equator, so it's even hotter. It might not be enough to just be under trees. Being up in the branches may give them better access to the savanna breezes, but that alone doesn't make sense, only when paired with this next theory. Bugs. You heard right. Something as simple as insects is probably the main reason. It's bad enough that the ground can be so hot from the sun during the day, but the lions would have to deal with irritants. Bugs, insects, walking around on the ground, getting on their skin, biting, stinging. What a pain in the mane. Climbing a tree? That's an easy solution to avoid the bugs. The bugs in these areas would be more subdued at night, perhaps even burrowing underground. And they would also be gone from the area when it rained. Could it all be so simple? These lions live near the equator, so they experience some of the hottest temperatures in Africa, and they live near large bodies of water, which does make far more bugs in the area. If you're dealing with both extreme heat and excessive irritants in the way of bugs biting and stinging, you'd get quite agitated yourself. You'd climb a tree too, and then at night, and when it rained, when the bugs were gone, you'd probably want to come down out of the tree as well. So these tree-climbing lions aren't climbing trees out of fear, they don't have some secret club, and they aren't even doing this to gain a bird's-eye view of their prey. Then again, it might help. They're just escaping the heat and the bugs. Apparently, the bugs of Uganda and Tanzania are the most irritating insects in the world because they have quite literally driven 500-pound lions up into the trees. Lions are the apex predators of Africa, but in East Africa, they aren't exactly top dogs because the insects are the ones that dictate where they spend their days.